Welcome to Tezos Bakers. This is the second Baker Showcase. We have Matt from Kryptstar Bakery. Tezos Bakers has been reaching out to the best Tezos bakers in the community, finding out a little bit more about them behind the scenes, what they do. How's it going, Mac? How you doing?
Hey, what's going on, man? Going pretty good. Saturday morning, ready for the weekend. Woo.
Oh yeah, man, I've been a big fan of your YouTube channels. That's how you really stood out to me. I've been watching your YouTube and the work that you've been doing with Tezos. So thank you for coming out here and talking to me. I think it's so important that the community gets out and we talk to each other more. We get a face-to-face, learn more about Tezos and what we can do to make it better. So I've been watching your videos for a long time, but how did you actually get into Tezos?
Actually, way back in the day, Tezos was pretty much my first crypto investment. I got this shirt way back then. Actually, I saw this shirt on a advertisement, my Tezos t-shirt teaser, whatever it was called. I really wanted one. I didn't have enough money, so I invested in Tezos a little bit that I had back then. And yeah, now I'm here where I am today, Tezos Baker. We've actually migrated from Tezos Japan. We had a Tezos Japan baker. I was running that personally. Then we went ahead and we combined with the Own Block Bakery, and then we created Kryptstar. And yeah, that's where we are now.
Yeah, you guys have a lot of delegatees. You've grown for sure. It appears to be you guys have a pretty decent sized bakery as far as small independent bakers go. And you guys do important work. That's why I'm getting out, and the smaller bakers that are more independent. That really helps the network because it keeps things decentralized, right? Small independent bakers like you help keep Tezos strong and independent, and it's very important. For people that are new to Tezos and they're looking to find a baker, what makes your bakery unique? What is different that you do at Kryptstar Bakery versus maybe someone else? I know you have some special Telegram deals you do, things like that. So is there anything you would tell someone that's looking to bake Tezos?
Yes. Well, we are a very community-driven bakery. We try to engage everybody who is delegated to us. We actually have a special program where if you want to get the special fee for our bakery, you have to just go ahead and register on our Telegram group. It doesn't require any KYC. It's just basically you say hi and you just DM me your address and I register you for the special discount fee. And that fee is 12% now. So yeah, we also do a lot of YouTube videos. We do a lot of YouTube content for Tezos. We tend to go a little bit towards the sort of, I don't know what do you want to call it, like a semi proactive talking about the way the Tezos Foundation is working, as well as how the direction Tezos is going in general with regards to marketing and the growth of the blockchain itself. And so we try to put out radical ideas. We do research and talk to different people who are involved in different projects inside Tezos to find out the inner workings of how things are going and to try and give that information out to the public so everyone knows about that.
Yeah, that's awesome you're doing that because I've been with Tezos since the ICO also. And, where we are in growth, I personally would like to see a lot more. And that's why I started Tezos Bakers, because I think we need to get back down to like the grassroots movement, the people that are really interested in technology, the people that have actually, been part of the community since the beginning and focusing on that and getting that spark growing again about, getting excited about Tezos again and where we can see it going, new use cases, things like that. It is a crypto winter we're in, and that's understandable. But, Tezos has lost some market cap as far as ratings. And I don't want to focus on that too much, but, we're looking to grow and appreciate independent bakers and people that secure the network. As far as Tezos, what kind of like real use cases do you see in the future possibly for the chain?
Well, for me, Tezos has been around. It's one of the OG blockchains out there. The biggest issue probably being is that they are focusing on scalability before they are focusing on being a first to market blockchain. And I think scalability is very important, but you actually want to be in the market first. You want to have the users and then worry about scalability. I've been talking about this quite a bit. Block time is much more important to me than a layer 2 right now. And I think that should have been the priority last year. And I've stated this on several occasions. Also, the trust of the foundation because the foundation has not turned off their bakers like they promised. Arthur Brightman literally went around to the different countries when he was doing their first ICO rounds and visiting the different organizations in England as well as Japan. And I have 2-3 resources, as well as I wasn't actually the day that he's there the day that he said it, but they told me that he mentioned it to them because it was a big question. Will the foundation ever turn off their bakers? And what are the milestones for them turning off their bakers? And Tesla's growth has been quite good. And we've gone up to what, a $2 billion market cap at one point in time. And that could have been a good milestone for the Tezos Foundation to turn off their bakers or to kind of scale down their bakery so that way they don't own 20% of the tokens or whatever. And just so you guys know, I didn't actually calculate how many of the tokens that they own. A lot of people kind of bash at me for my math.
Right.
Whole point of it is they own a huge part of the network, and they basically can dump any time. And that is a big what do you call, weight on the investor if we're trying to get new investors, as well as the OG investors are tending to leave nowadays because they don't see this promise as being fulfilled by the Tezos Foundation and Arthur Brightman. And I think this kind of disconnect and this kind of lack of focus on a relationship with the community in the Tezos Foundation is a very big issue. And I don't think it's going to change, but they can hire an organization that does it better than it's currently being done.
100%. That's I think you're right on the ball. It's very interesting, and that's, it's not always good news. We need to get out there and talk about things like this and what can we do better. And that's why the small bakers, the small independent bakers, are so important. I was wondering the other day because I'm not a baker myself, but I've been in touch with a lot of you guys, listening to issues you guys have or ideas or what we can do better. And I always appreciate hearing things. So explain it to me, because what I wondered, what if the foundation turns off their bakers tomorrow, right? If they stop baking, what does it do? What is it? How does that help your bakery and small independent bakers?
If they did that, it would screw over the whole network. We'd be stuck in a limbo because they need to turn them off one by one over a steady period of time. They need to have milestones for turning them off. And okay. I think just announcing that, even if it's a year in the future, would be extremely positive for Tezos market cap growth, because then it would be seen as the foundation is following through with their promise and creating milestones for their plans in the future. But as of right now, we don't see a solid direction of what the foundation's goal is. All we see is reckless spending without actual KPIs for what they're spending their money on. So for example, when we did our YouTube channel, I had KPIs, I think it was for 300,000 views or something like that. And it was, I think it was 30 videos. So this was a while ago. I don't remember the exact numbers, but you meet the KPIs and you turn those in as a sort of a project management plan. You turn those in, and then once those are met, you get your next round of funding. Now, with the KPIs, with regards to Blockhouse, with regards to Red Bull, with regards to Manchester United, they need to come out and actually give these KPIs and make them public so that people can see what milestones are being met by the different grants that are being given by the foundation. And they have enough money, and they should have enough resources as well as manpower to do this. If they don't, they should hire people, because they need to have this sort of stakeholder engagement. We, as Tezos holders, we're stakers, right? That's what that term stakers come from, as a stakeholder. That's actually like what it came from. And people don't kind of connect with that, I believe. That's the whole thing about being a staker on the Tezos blockchain, is you're a stakeholder in the Tezos blockchain. So I think that needs to be a number one priority for
the foundation. They raised a lot of money, and I listened to an interview recently. I'm not sure who she was talking to, but Kathleen. I think they're starting to realize that maybe those things didn't work. They spent a lot of money and it didn't work, and that's why me and you are talking, and I'm reaching out to other bakers and saying, what can we do to make it work? Because the technology is there. We've built a vast, community of bakers that are ready to secure the network, and things like, it could be, like you said, milestones for the foundation to turn off some of their bakers, things like that will kind of spark that fire again within the Tezos community. And those are important. And I know not everyone agrees on these things. And that's, sometimes while we get in behind the scenes and talk governance issues and things like that, because we all have common goals. We just maybe sometimes differ on how to get there. And it's easy to look back and say things should have been done this way or that way. But as far as Tezos Bakers, the website I started, I'm not, it's, it's totally community driven. And it was about getting out there, getting some of those ideas out, seeing what some of the issues were with the bakers, and seeing if there's anything, you know, we can do to help, even small things or ideas or anything like that. And I have reached out to Tezos Commons and the foundation. I know they're doing a lot of work and they're doing a lot of sponsorships. But I said, hey, you know, I've seen a lot of small bakers leave, and I don't, you know, it's not good. So I want to kind of reinvest in the small baker and the independent baker and start talking about what you guys are doing and maybe bring more people on board, because that's essentially what it is. So it's very important. So other than that, is where do you see Tezos? Do you think they're going to turn off the Bakers of Foundation? I mean, because they never did. They ever say originally when they were? Was there ever an original goal for when they were? Because I know they were talking about when it was secure, but there was never an actual milestone, right?
There was never a milestone, and that's the biggest, for me, that's the biggest issue with most of the things that Tezos Foundation does, is that they don't set milestones, they don't set KPIs. And even if, as a grantee, I did KPIs, I don't feel like they track them properly. You just turn them in, and then they're like, okay, here's your money. They don't really talk to you or engage you. Maybe they don't have a full team. Like I heard there's only like 10 people or something that work there. I'm like, that's crazy. You guys own, it's like a 200, or actually it's $800 million before, right? Was the treasury, and now it's been going down slowly. But they have only 10 people working there to do all these grants, and I think they hired another company to go ahead and do smaller grants now, which is good. But at the same time, I still don't think it's quite enough. They need to set milestones. They need to go ahead and engage the community, ask people what they think they should spend these big bucks on, because if personally, Arthur just coming out and keeping all this information with his top executives at the Tezos Foundation, I don't feel like they know exactly what is best for the Tezos blockchain in the past. And Kathleen coming out and saying that was pretty bullish for me. I've heard, I didn't actually watch the interview. I don't watch most of what they say anymore because they tend to go off topic a lot. But but
yeah. Well, you know what? To be honest, I don't mean to interrupt you, but to be honest with you, we hear a lot from them. And I don't ever get to hear the community talk. And that's kind of why I started doing this, because just like the conversation me and you are having right now, there's no influencing, right? It's just, we're just having a natural conversation of, you know, where things are heading and about baking, you know, and stuff like that. So, but go ahead, you can finish with what you were saying. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, it's when she said that, it's really nice, because when you admit to your mistakes and that instigates change for the future. And I don't see Arthur doing that because his ego is very high, but maybe Kathleen can come out and kind of bring down his ego, and then they can come together and start admitting to some of the things that they did wrong, and then set these milestones for the future to set things on a good path. But it would really take him stepping down from his ego and doing that, or getting a public relations specialist, which I've been mentioning a lot in the back channels. But he needs a public relations specialist to stop shooting down his cheerleaders, like coming out and people who tell him he's doing things wrong. That's actually a good thing, because it lets him know. Yeah, it lets him know where the weaknesses are. He's a technical person. He's not a business person. We all know that. That's one of the biggest problems with the Tezos blockchain, is because we hire all these technical people, but there's no business product owners that are able to kind of fix all this stuff that we have right now.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I thought it was cool to see the, you know, on the Mets, on the stadium, they got the big Tezos sign. Cool. I mean, I kind of think some of that stuff's cool like that. But you have to, like, to me, you have to get back to the basics and the people that actually built the network. You know, maybe you can do both those things or all those things at once. And I know it can be overwhelming, and it is a decentralized chain. That's why sometimes a community can step up and help where they can. And, you know, it may even be just me and you talking about these things and starting to figure some of that stuff out. But I've enjoyed it, you know, and it's crazy to look back and think, what was the ICO, 2017 or something? I mean, 5 years, right? 5 years.
We're gonna have our 6-year anniversary, right? This is July, right?
Right. So, I mean, it's crazy to see kind of how it started and what transpired, and in 5 years, where are we, right? And let's look 5 years in the future. Where is it going to be? And I want to say it's going to be a success. I absolutely want to say it's going to be a success, and I think it can be, and I think it provides real value, and it has a real potential to succeed. So I appreciate it. Is there anything else you'd want to talk about as far as baking or anything Tezos related?
Um, yeah, I mean, the great part about Tezos, I think the most bullish scenario for Tezos right now is that you can run a baker on a Raspberry Pi. And that is it's a really cool technical aspect, that's another big issue with Tezos. It's so technical and it's so economical compared to other blockchains regarding the power consumption. You can run Tezos node on, 20 watts of power, which is just ridiculously low. I think that's a very bullish case for scenario for Tezos, but the other issues of not enough product. There's not enough product ownership with the Tezos Foundation. We don't know what the direction of the foundation is, what they're trying to do, what their end goal is. We don't. Arthur comes out and he bashes people on Telegram, on Reddit, and that turns away really big investors when they see basically the founder of Tezos being so childish in a public place. That's a very big turnoff for VCs. And I had VCs come to me and be like, I don't like Arthur. I would never want to deal with Tezos. And that's just the way it is.
Right. He may have thought this up and designed it, but not everyone's suitable for certain aspects of business, like you said. So it doesn't mean he's a bad guy.
You have to know how to delegate. Yes.
Right. And I imagine it must be incredibly stressful sometimes for him and dealing with all that. And we raised a lot of money, so I think there is the resources out there to do all this, to do all of these things. So for the community to have to step up and fill in some of the gaps, like for example, when Tezos first started, they had My Tezos Baker. Remember that? MyTezosBaker.com.
Yeah.
And now it was a great website. And I'm watching it, and I seen the guy on Reddit, and he was saying, well, I didn't have funding. He said he ran out of funding. He's like, they funded me to build the website, but they didn't keep up the funding to operate their website. And I thought, wow, I was like, that's a lot of work that this guy went through to build this website, and then to not have the support back to see it through. So that's rough.
There was one before that. I can't remember the exact website name, but it was in Tezos Explorer, and it was not nearly on the level of TZ Stats nowadays. I mean, TZ Stats is just beautiful. I just look at this every day. I'm like,
it is. I absolutely agree with you.
Explorer I've ever seen.
That's the one I like to use.
TZKT is great for other things. I use both in conjunction, but this one is just so nice. From a baker's point of view, you can see your bakes on the right-hand side in the little box. It's so cool.
Right.
But they had another one in the day that was actually moved to a protocol called June. It was actually a Tezos fork. Tezos has been forked, and it can be forked. It's not that difficult. So that's a really bad marketing point that Arthur always pushes out, and it's like, we are forkable. It's not as easy, and it's written in Michelson, so you have to have the developers to do it. That's the only reason it's not forkable, not because of our upgrade process.
But it's very interesting.
But they moved to June, and that was another big waste of Tezos funding. And people are saying that they were being greedy, asking for money for funding. But I'm like, you guys just spent $200 million on Red Bull, and you guys spent.
It's hard to stomach sometimes. It's definitely can be hard to stomach sometimes. I agree. I agree with you. I don't know even what the answer is, but sometimes just talking about it and seeing maybe there is an issue is where to start. So.
Yep.
That's why I love what I'm doing here, because it's totally grassroots. It's totally community driven. It's good or bad. Let's get it on the table and talk about it. So that's awesome, Mac. I enjoy your bakery. I enjoy what you do on YouTube. I enjoy your videos. Those people that go above and beyond for Tezos, and even if it's like you saying, hey, don't sugarcoat things. This is what the network needs. This is what we want to see. That's important for the community, and that's important for the community to get out there and talk about those things. So I still have good hope for Tezos. I think it will succeed. I'm hoping to see it flourish in the future. I really do. And I thank you for coming out and taking the time. There's been a few bakers that have reached out to me and talked about issues like this and what they're doing. And it's all for the betterment of the chain. So Mac, is there anything else? Maybe how can people get a hold of you if they're looking to maybe ask you a question. Your YouTube channel is pretty visible, but is there a best way for people to contact you?
Yeah, just join my Telegram group. Come say hi, and you can add me from there if you have any ideas to help bring Tezos to the limelight in a good way. Well, yeah, we're not going to shut down as a baker. We're just going to stay here. We are maxed out delegated right now, so we have raised our fee to non-registered users. So just be aware of that. We do have a 50% fee right now for non-registered users, so it's quite high, but we're maxed out on delegations, so we're trying to lower that right now. But if you do want the lower fee and you want to join, we can always add more bond. If you really have an interest in joining our community, of course, we welcome that, and we'll gladly buy more Tezos to go ahead and include you there. But
yeah, Matt, actually, if you don't mind, real quick, I was going to end the interview, but you brought up a good point, because I've seen a lot of bakers say we don't want, we're filled, we're full, right? And I'm not a technical person, so if you could explain to me why, because to me, I'm like, you want growth, right? You want
This is another issue. This is another issue with Tezos. There's no way bakers can start up their own projects unless they have a huge amount of money to begin with. You need 10 times the you need 10% right? of the amount of delegation you have, which is at first it was a way to become decentralized, but now it's basically there's no way anybody can get the amount of power that the Tezos Foundation or that the exchanges have, because we can't grow our bakers big enough to go ahead and compete with them for voting rights. So there's no way we're going to actually have a separate governance process that is led by that is community led. There's no way. Everything is going to be dictated coming from the top down, from Arthur Brightman and from those people. There's no way a baker can grow big enough or get enough funding to go ahead and put in other proposals. Which we would love to grow that big, but we just don't have the bond, and we don't feel like we're going to put that much into Tezos, because the Tezos Foundation does have a lot of bond, and if they decide to vote, which they said they're not going to, but they said they're going to shut down as well. So I don't know, I can't believe them. But they can actually veto any sort of proposal that any baker puts out right now, because private bakers cannot get big enough to go ahead and push in a proposal and get funding to push in a proposal.
Yeah, that's a big problem. And you're not the only baker to say that. Trust me, I've heard many of them say that we don't have the bond. We don't want any more.
They don't promote competition. The Tezos Foundation, Arthur, they don't promote competition. They pretend like they're decentralized, but they don't allow for decentralization.
Right.
And they just if you say something like what I'm saying, they'll just disagree with you and say, oh, that's not what we believe. You're a fudder and a liar and a scammer. I'm like, no, I mean, this is the way it is. We can't get over 600,000 Tezos in our baker because we don't have enough bond. If we had, 30, 40 million Tezos in our baker, we could vote and we could push in a proposal and it would have some weight. But as of right now, there's no way our vote even has enough weight to push anything forward. Unless you're a rich mongrel and
right.
So.
I could definitely see that being a problem. And I can definitely see trying to grow a business and all of a sudden, you're getting more popular, but you're like, no, I can't do it anymore. Our growth is stunted. And I don't know all that, from the technical perspective, but from the business perspective, that's not a good thing, right? You want to be able to grow, and keep growing no matter what. So I could see where that's definitely an issue. So these are all things that need to be talked about, and me and you getting out here talking about these things. And as I go along and I talk to other bakers, we can kind of get a consensus of, issues that we're having and things like that. So, Mac, thank you so much. Appreciate you coming out. Keep doing the YouTube videos. I love it. I love seeing the content. I hope your YouTube channel continues to grow. I know you're have a couple other cryptocurrencies you're into, so that's very cool. I'm interested in watching you and the rest of what you're doing. But if anyone has never told you this, I truly believe this. Thank you for being a Tezos Baker, right? Because you're providing a service. You are keeping the chain going. You're validating transactions. You're keeping the chain decentralized as you can. So the work you're doing is vitally important. And if no one has ever told you thank you, big thank you from the community to you for being a Tezos Baker and for also talking about the issues that you feel are very important for the community to know. So thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem, man. And thank you for having me on the channel. It was really great to talk today. And yeah, I look forward to talking to you in the future and maybe collaborating on some other products if you have anything coming up.
Yeah, I'd love to talk to you again in the future. I'd love to talk to you guys. So appreciate you, Mac. Thank you for coming out.
Thank you, sir. Have a good day.